on those. I didn't give you any monomials, because I feel like you can do those. You might have some on your review homework. Yes, no? Reagan saying yes.
I just missed. I did on the 4B. I canceled out the 12 CB like I did. Yeah. I didn't do
And
that.
the one thing that I would say on this, and it's probably the way to keep from messing it up is to always, and I didn't do it, but always write it in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Because if I always write it in alphabetical order, my eyes pick up on it better, the ones that match up.
Mhm.
That I thought about that after I wrote it out, is that otherwise you have to look at it really close.
Yeah.
So, you good, Joseph?
Mhm. I don't know. Last one. Got a
The
little
last
more.
one messed you up a little bit. You have it done out. See if I can. Let's see if you match all the way up to that point. And you do. It's right here.
Mm.
Okay. 2b times negative 12bc is not squared. I mean, it's
No.
not cubed, it's squared. It was just a careless mistake on your part.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And it's easy to do on those long problems. Okay, let's talk about division. Okay, the first thing we did is we did polynomials divided by monomials. And this is basically just like reducing down. There's no division to it, if you will. So let's say I have something like this. And let's say it's over top of xy. Okay? Actually, let's throw a number in there too. Let's throw a 2 in there. Okay? Understand, it's over top of this, that is the denominator of all three of them. So therefore what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at those terms. Now I can write them individually if I want to, but I doubt if you're going to take the effort to do that. So what you're probably going to do is you're probably going to reduce it in your head. Okay? 24 over 2 reduces to 12 over 1. So I've got a 12 on the top, and I've got a 1 on the bottom. Okay? Then I have x squared and I have an x. So what do I have? And is it on the top or the bottom?
Top.
Top. Okay? I have a y cubed and a y. What do I have?
Y
No,
squared,
And top or bottom?
top,
Top. Okay. So I have that. That's the first term. Then I move on to the next term. I have a 12 over 2. So what is that?
6,
6 over 1, if I want to write the 1 down there. Okay, I have an x over an x. They cancel out. They're equal to 1. Okay? Y to the 4th over y.
Y cubed,
Y cubed. Okay, then I go on to the next term. And I have a 4 over 2, which is 2 over 1. I have an x cubed and an x.
x squared,
Top or bottom?
top,
Top. I have a y over y. Cancels out. Okay. Notice they all have a 1 on the bottom. So I don't have to write that. So this is 12xy squared plus 6y cubed plus 2x squared. Those can't be combined. So that's where I stand. Okay? That was the monomial. When I divide by a monomial. Keep your eyes open for that. Okay, then we move forward with like a binomial that we were dividing then. And we did two different things. We did long division and we did synthetic division. Okay?
I forgot we even did something.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long chapter. It's been a very long chapter. Let's do this one, and we'll do this one both ways. Now remember, you might have to put placeholders in these things depending on what the problem is. This one actually does have a placeholder, so I'm glad. All right, let's do long division first, okay? Because that's the one you probably remember the easiest. Well, maybe, I don't know. Okay, I don't have an x to the first power. So I gotta put a 0, if I want to, I can put a 0x, so that I'll remember that that's the x to the first power. Understanding that this is an x to the 0 power. Okay, so what I do is I look at the first term, and I go, x times what gives me 10x to the 4th power? 10x to the 3rd power will give me 10x to the 4th power. So I multiply, so the first one has to match up, or you haven't done it right. But then I have to multiply it times 1. So then I have a 10x to the 3rd power. Don't forget, long division, you're subtracting. So 5x cubed minus 10x cubed is a negative 5x cubed. Then I bring down the next term. Now I start again. X times what gives me negative 5x cubed?
Negative 5x squared.
Negative 5x squared. Now you can either write minus 5x or you could put plus a negative 5x, just depending on how you like to do it. Okay, negative 5x cubed. If those don't match up, you did something wrong. Okay, multiplying here, I have a minus 5x squared. Now, you have a positive minus a negative. So a negative, minus a negative is gonna give you a plus, this is gonna give you a 9x squared. If you're gonna mess up anywhere, that's probably gonna be where it's gonna be. All right, again, I bring down the next term. What do I multiply x by to get 9x squared? 9x. Okay, so that's 9x squared plus 9x. I'm subtracting, so I get a negative 9x. And I just have one more term to bring down. I have a negative 9. What do I multiply x by? Negative 9. And it totally matches up. If I get a remainder, I place it over my divisor and put it at the end. Okay? That's long division. All right, let's do this with synthetic division. At least synthetic division takes up less space. I will say that. Okay? Remember, I'm going to put on the outside, it's got to be in an x minus r location. Okay? It has to match up to that. If I have a number in front of that x besides 1, I have to divide everything by that number. Those are the ones that you don't really want to do, but you can do. So out here, I have a negative 1, because it's always going to be the opposite of what I have. Okay? Because that could be written as x minus a negative 1. So it's that r that goes out here. Okay? Then I put all of my coefficients, 10, 5, 4, 0, and negative 9. I have to put that 0 in there as a placeholder. Remember, I bring the first one straight down. I multiply, and then I place, and then I add. Multiply, place, add. Multiply, place, add. Multiply, place, add. If it comes out even, I get a 0 at the end. And go, okay, what do I do with those? Well, I look up here, and if I started with a 4, remember this is where I have to press polynomial, I go down 1. So 10x cubed minus 5x plus 5x squared plus 9x minus 9. The exact same thing I got right there.
Well, there's a 2 in front of the x, you just need to be 5x to the 4.
If I had a 2 in front of the x, if I had a 2 in front of the x, I would have, and I had to do synthetic division on it, I would divide everything I have by the 2. Okay? So this would become 5x to the 4th plus 5 over 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 9 over 2 over x plus 1/2. So then I would have a negative 1/2 right here in each of those. Okay? And when you get to the end, if you had a remainder, you would have to multiply through top and bottom to get rid of that remainder that was a fraction. Okay? If it was a fraction, you can't leave a fraction within a fraction. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Kind of? Okay. All right.
Well, we can multiply it by the x 1/2.
Okay, let's say at the end I got a, let's say I was doing this problem right here. Okay, and let's say at the end I got a 4. Okay, so then I go, oh, it's 4 over x plus 1/2. But I can't have a fraction and a fraction. What do I have to multiply this by to get rid of that fraction?
2 over 1.
2.
Mhm.
Okay, so then the top becomes 8, the bottom becomes 2x plus 1, and that's what I use. Okay. All right, that was that section. Okay, then, so that's the bottom of page 4 and the top and the whole page of page 5. And this gets you to the center of page 6, which was factoring. This was also in our chapter. There was a lot in our chapter. Okay, there is a table in your book. Go back and find out what page it's on.
274.
Yep, 274 gives you the table. Remember, when you're factoring, you're always looking to see if there's anything that can be factored out of it. Okay? That is the first move you make, no matter what it looks like. The second move you make is you look at how many terms are there. If it's 2 terms, you're looking for difference of squares, sum of cubes, and difference of cubes. That's the only situation that you can have that you can factor. Very rarely do you have sum or difference of cubes. Most of the time you're going to have difference of squares or sum of squares, which you can't do anything to. If you have 3 terms, you're going to look to be able to break it into the 2 sets of parentheses and do the opposite of FOIL on it. You're going to factor it. If you have 4 terms or 6 terms or 8 terms, you're going to look at grouping, where you put the first 2 together and the second 2 together, factor out what they have in common, okay? Obviously, you're going to have some on your homework to practice. Let's see what we can do right now to practice. All right, I'm going to put 2 up here. See what you can do with it. You can use the chart there if you want. We've actually been doing a lot of this all the way through this chapter. So hopefully it's fallen into place at this point. Okay, you've got that one. Don't forget to look to see if there's anything that can be factored out. And you've got that one. Okay, you just have to, especially on this one, you've got to pay attention to the chart. Okay, so make sure you're studying the chart and you understand. Wow, that was quick 19 minutes.